Hey now, welcome to Fitzdog Radio. I'm in Florida, my mom's apartment. The Wi-Fi is really bad. It's entirely possible that the video is going to freeze and go as we do this. But my interview with Ryan Sickler later will be fine if you want to fast forward to that. If the video is annoying, I get it. But I need to talk a little bit about my experience here in Florida. I mean, what is better as an anthropological scientist, which is what a comedian is, to visit the land where old people come to die. And there's all these old people in my mom's building, and you can't walk down the hall without getting in a conversation with 5 different people who all want to tell you their life story and everything about their grandkids. I don't care about your grandkids. They're not that great, but it really is a need for them to, I don't know if it validates them. It means that they lived a good life if their grandkids turned out okay. I mean, I don't know if my mom brags about us. I certainly hope not. And it's got to be a pissing contest down here. If you have a loser grandkid, that kid doesn't get talked about. By the way, I got a nice zit right in the middle of my nose. 55 years old. Bald, still have acne. Thank you. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. If you're listening to this today, I think it is around the 28th of December. I'm recording this on the 27th of December. And we had a great Christmas. Real nice. Came down here. It was just me, my wife, kids, mom. Put a nice Instagram photo up if you want to see the family down here in Florida with my mother. We went to church. The picture was taken in front of the church. Now, my mother is very Irish Catholic, which means they are the holiest of all other Catholics. And so I guess that justifies her pulling in to the church parking lot 5 minutes after the services started and parking in a spot that is clearly marked for clergy only. And that is how she has lived her life. And that's what was modeled for me, is we don't follow the rules. We do shit the way we want to do it. And so we get into the church, and it's a beautiful church, and there's an old Irish priest, and he says, there's so many beautiful children here today, and it's so nice to see because, you know, this is a birthday party. It's a birthday party for Jesus Christ, and I know you all like birthdays. And I'm thinking, yeah, this is how it started. This is how it started. Don't look on the wall, kids. There's a cross up there. A little spoiler alert about how this thing ends. So, my mom just walked in. I'm doing a podcast, Mom. I'm doing my intro for my podcast. So I was talking about church, how nice church was. And I was thinking about my birthday. And, you know, like Jesus Christ was born 2,022 years ago. And the world stops on his birthday. People do not work. People travel hours and hours. They spend thousands of dollars all honoring his birthday. I'm lucky if I get 4 texts from some friends on my birthday. That's it. So he wins. He wins. We had, there's a lot of people in church that try to show off, and they will kneel before everybody else kneels. Like when it's time to kneel, they're always about 10 seconds ahead just to show that they're better Catholics than you. And they get down there and they kneel and they stand up and they know all the words. And the thing about the Catholic Church is they always change the words from church to church. Like I used to have it nailed down. Thanks be to God. And it is right to give him thanks and praise. Like all the little sayings, I had them. But then each church changes the wording just a little bit, just so you can throw off the newcomers to this particular church. But I think I did good. What else? I did some shows at the West Palm Beach Improv on Christmas night, which was surreal. There was a lot of single people there, people that came alone. I talked to this one woman. She was kind of a middle-aged, overweight black woman who bought one ticket for herself on Christmas night. And I didn't go too deep into the story because I was afraid. I was afraid of what would be underneath there. What was the backstory of Comedy Club Alone on Christmas night? It could have gotten dark. So I just transitioned into some dick jokes, and we got through it. We had a lot of people come out. I was shocked with the Omicron, the Abercrombie and Fitch virus. I'm surprised that anybody showed up, especially on Christmas night, but we had some good crowds. My friend Dory Gersoy showed up, who is a girl that I knew growing up, who I fooled around with when I was a teenager. And she came out with some friends. She brought 15 friends to see me and her son. And I didn't know her son was with her when I started going on about how we fooled around together as teenagers, as did many of the boys in Tarrytown. She was a friendly girl and a lovely girl, very nice. And it was great seeing her. She looks good, still looks real good. I'm heading off to New York now. I am going to see Attell. Dave Attell will be at Caroline's this week. If you're in New York, go see him. And I'm gonna go watch his set on Tuesday night, then do some spots down at the Cellar and the Stand on Wednesday night. And then I'm heading up to Bridgeport, Connecticut on the 30th to do the Stress Factory. And then New Brunswick, New Jersey on New Year's Eve to do the Stress Factory there. And then back to Bridgeport, Connecticut to do the night of the first. So they've got me shuttling around from state to state like some kind of a clown. And then I'm off. Where am I off to after that? Boston in January, as well as Portland, Oregon. All tickets available at Fitzdog.com. What else? I want to get right to the podcast because I don't know how this video stream is going. But Happy New Year to you guys. I hope you got nice plans for New Year's Eve. I hope you've enjoyed this year of Fitzdog Radio. Thanks for all the support throughout the year, and especially for supporting the sponsors. This week's podcast brought to you from our very dear friends at BetterHelp. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. We talk about BetterHelp a lot on the show. This month, we're discussing some of the stigmas around mental health, how people think that they have to hit a crisis before they reach out for help, when in fact, it's upkeep. Regular therapy is good for your head, and you should do it. And you can afford it with BetterHelp.com. You can. My son is he's doing the butt shake in my face right now, even though he needs some mental therapy. It's affordable. You can do it. You can do it face to face. You can do it with. Well, there's a lot of ways, but I mean, I've done therapy my whole life. It's been extremely effective for me. It will make you the best you that you can be. If you've got a lot of people have anxiety from the pandemic and they're having a hard time getting back to work, connecting to people, whatever it may be, get yourself some therapy, talk about it. You're going to feel better, make your life better. It's like the gym. It's like working out. Keep yourself in shape. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist. So you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy and can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Give it a try. See why over 2 million people have used BetterHelp online therapy. And Fitzdog Radio listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/Fitzdog. That's BetterHelp. HELP.com/Fitzdog. Okay, and now let's, this is a chat I had with my buddy Ryan Sickler just last week, and we're going to play that for you now. I hope you enjoy it. And again, Happy New Year, and God bless. We're sitting in Fitzdog Studios, which is a rarity for me. I'm doing most of my podcasts by Zoom these days. And it's so nice to have you here in the office.
Well, I didn't know that. Thank you for having me in.
Yeah.
This is nice. And I'm a Hendrix super freak, so I love that. I am. Yeah. I love that there. That's great.
It's a shame you didn't put out more albums. What do you think about the posthumous albums that have come out?
I mean...
Valleys of Neptune wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't bad. But live at the Fillmore, when they did that back in, what was that, like 2000, I don't know, 2-ish, 4, somewhere in there, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Right.
After that, it all seems like either for diehards and or the family to generate a little income, generations down the line. I get it. But could you imagine dying at 27, okay? I'm 48. That's 21 years ago, and leaving that body of fucking work in a 5-year span. It's sick.
Yeah.
It's sick.
Yeah. Well, that seems to be, I look at my kids and I'm like, you're doing worse than me. Like, I at least had a fucking idea what I was going to do for a living. My kids are just like,
How old are they now?
21 and 18.
And they're not sure what they wanted to do yet?
I don't know. My son finally picked a major. He's going to do environmental stuff, which is good. I'm glad he's going to help the world a little bit, but it's not going to help his bank account very much. And then my daughter wants to she's doing early childhood education studies.
That was a big major at the school I went to in Maryland at Towson. Well, Towson now, but it was Towson State.
Oh, you went to Towson?
Yeah.
Oh, go Panthers.
Yeah. Tigers. Nice try, though, bro.
What have I known? That would have fucking blown
You're not
your mind.
far off. It's
that
a
would have blown your mind. Did you play any sports there?
Not there. I played soccer, so I went to community college first.
Yeah.
Because I just was my SATs sucked. I had no parents. I didn't even know what I was supposed to fucking do.
Right.
I was just told go to college.
Yeah.
And I played soccer there, and I was all JUCO, and that's why I always joke about all JUCO and soccer.
What's all JUCO mean?
That's all. JUCO is junior college.
Oh.
So anytime you see those draft kids and you see JUCO, they're out of the junior colleges.
Right.
Yeah.
I know. I was watching a player on, I can't remember what team it was the other day, but yeah, they'd come out of a junior college, and I was like, man, how the fuck did he get seen? I guess you just show up to the camp and impress everybody.
A lot of these, so there's these series on Netflix, and I forget what the fuck they're called. They're like Hard Knocks, but they're junior college, and what they are, a lot of these big Division I guys go to like an LSU or a Florida, and then they get in trouble.
Right.
Some kind of fucking trouble, and they now can't play there, so they go to these junior colleges where
rape is more acceptable.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Rape, murder, theft,
DUIs,
they go
hitting the
there
coach.
And they're watched off to the side. And then when they if they can prove themselves to be a better person, because they are fucking 19, 20, whatever it is they did, then they can go back to the Division I level. And that's usually how they get in there.
That was like, remember that documentary about Fernandez? What was the guy?
Aaron Hernandez.
Oh, is there a bug in your cup?
There is a bug.
No fucking
floating
way.
Upside down.
Oh, God.
There it is. Son of a bitch.
Oh, my God. I gave Ryan a Fitzdog radio cup, and he poured his iced tea in it for some reason.
But it had a bag on it. That must have just flew in. I feel like that fucker just dropped it on.
No, it's because I store them outside my house. I have a shed, and I store my cups out there. They must have gotten in the shed.
I'll rinse it out, bro.
Well, but who is the guy? Hernandez or Fernandez?
Aaron Hernandez.
On the Patriots?
Killed two dudes.
But do you remember that when they showed his college career?
Yeah.
He was fucking nuts.
Yeah. They talked about, he was down there at the same time Tim Tebow was.
Right.
So you've got the devil and the angel playing at the same time down there. Yeah. It's a pretty interesting dynamic for that guy. Right. And then he ends up being gay, and like, that's it. You killed two fucking people.
Because you didn't want to come out of the closet.
That's it. You killed two fucking people.
I know. Dude, I'd come out of the closet just to get some fucking casting.
Fuck yeah.
Just to get a new special on Netflix. I'll suck a dick. Dude, I would suck a dick for a Netflix special that they were going to promote. They got to promote it.
Also, what's the money, though? It's not a $50,000 Netflix special. No, it can't be $50,000.
It's got to be $250,000.
Okay. $250,000.
I don't swallow. I'll play with the balls. I'll look the guy right in the eyes.
Where does he load, though? Where does he get to shoot?
On my chest. That's fine.
Chest?
Yeah. What do I care?
Neck down's
what do I
fine.
care? Yeah, below the chin.
Neck down's totally fine. For $250,000, you got to promote it.
And they can make that the poster. Just my chest with a big gop on it. I don't care.
Shit.
So you showed up with an ace bandage on your hand.
Yeah.
So let's investigate that a little bit. You started telling me that you have some kind of a
So for about a year and a half now, I've had this thing called trigger finger that's been fucking with me, and it's in my. I don't know why they call it trigger. I know why they call it trigger fingers. Your finger locks like that, but this is my third finger, and it's got this knot in the tendon down here.
Yeah,
and I can't bend it, and it's excruciating. But at night, when your body fully relaxes, it'll bend on itself. So when I wake up in the morning, that motherfucker is locked down here, and I don't have the strength to flick it open.
No shit.
And then when I grab it and pop it up, it fucking, it's brutal. So I wear this little trigger finger thing, like a year and a half. I wear this little finger brace to stop it because it'll rest it, but every now and then I have to go get cortisone shots, and I took 6 of them. He does 2 here, and then you can see the bruise here a little, but he does 2 in here and then 2 in here.
And what did he say about your dick?
So he was telling me about this thing. He goes, do you know what this is? I can't remember the name. Somebody out there will know it. And I go, no. And he watches all of our shit. And he's like, I thought you comics all know about these weird things and joke about them. I go, what is that? He goes, well, the same thing that's going on in your hand can happen in your dick as you get older. And that's what makes your dick curve. And I said, well, that's what they said Clinton had, a curved dick. He's like, yeah, I didn't follow that. I'm like, when he was getting head from Monica Lewinsky, the thing they said about his dick was it curved to the left, I think it was, or something. I go, but I thought you were born with that. He goes, no, you can have a straight dick into your fucking 50s, and then 55, a knot like this grows in a vein or a tendon of your dick, and it'll fucking painfully bend that bitch to the left.
And does that come from jerking it, or is it just
it just comes from age? Just comes from age. And he said there's a needle. Now there's a new, so minor maintenance, he said. He's like,
you'd have to start working some new positions. If you went that hard to the right, you'd have to do like some kind of a 270 degree.
To figure out how to get it to curve.
Yeah, right. Your wife would be like, hey, whose dick is this? I didn't marry this dick. I married a straight dick.
I can't imagine. Listen, I can tell you how painful this is. I can't imagine this in my dick.
Oh, man.
And does it get like, I remember when I was a kid, so we're going to talk about some of this stuff anyway, but I have 2 brothers, a single dad, and we have 1 bathroom, and I have a twin brother, and we're going through the same growing pains at the exact same time. We're hitting puberty at the same time. So our bathroom is fully fucking occupied. Yeah. Everybody's in there shitting, jerking, showering, whatever. It is a one bathroom. One with 4 males.
Damn.
And I remember, like, it's so. I just started talking about this when I was talking to Dr. Drew about this, and we were laughing. Is when I first started masturbating. I didn't set out to do anything. I'm just laying on the top bunk. My mom had put me with my younger brother at that point, which was a mistake. Why wouldn't you put the 2 going through puberty together?
Right.
And I'm just laying there, and I didn't know even how to jerk off. It's the summer between 5th and 6th grade, and I'm just like bear pawing it. I'm just like laying on my back, and my dick's hard, and I'm just sort of beating it.
Sure, I remember that move. Yeah.
And something would happen after 30 minutes
to an hour.
Mouse. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And I did that move for probably a good year. And then we're in 7th grade. I will never forget this. This dude doesn't even know how he changed my life. I'm at the back of the line. I think we're waiting to get in like math class. There's like maybe 10 people in line. And I see 2 guys at the front laughing and joking. And the one guy goes, the other goes, oh, ho, 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 ho. And I saw the ho, ho, ho.
The jerk off motion.
From the back of the line. And I was like, oh my God. That's how you fucking do that. I can't wait to get home. And that changed my grip. That was the day I changed my grip. I had no idea that's how you did it.
That's how I felt when I went to Roger Dunn and I got a new driver last month. I was like, I can't wait to get to the course. I am going to fucking hammer this ball.
That's all I've been doing since 7th grade is hammering this
Isn't it great that after all these years, it's still so enjoyable? I mean,
no one knows me. No one knows you better than you. They'll never will. I don't care how long you're married to the same person. They're never going to know you.
It's always a novelty that somebody else is doing it, but it's still somebody else doing it.
Yeah, it's someone else doing it.
It's like, you know, when you go to a Broadway show and then you get the playbill and it says substituting for, it's okay, that'll be fun, but that's not really going to be the same as John Lithgow playing the lead role. But the problem is I was raised super Catholic.
We were Catholic, but not super Catholic.
Yeah, we
But
were
had a
like
nun in the
CCD
family
classes
and
on Wednesday nights.
Not Wednesdays. We did Sundays.
Okay.
We did do CCD all the way. I mean, I've got all the paperwork. I'm baptized, communion, and confirmation.
Yeah.
All the way in case it is real. In case it's real, I've got the
you can show
fucking
your
documents.
paperwork
I'm
to
like,
St.
what's up?
Peter.
Yeah.
Right.
We're in, but no.
Here's my Vax card.
Yeah.
Here's my confirmation
confirmation.
name. What was your confirmation name? Anthony? Every fucking guy picks
I think
Anthony.
it was. I didn't have. It was either Michael or Joseph.
Yeah,
I want to say it was one. I don't remember it. I
You know
really
what mine
don't.
was? Sebastian.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Who
Just
picked
because
it?
I
Did
was
you
a
pick
fucking
it?
wise ass. I picked the craziest name I could find.
Sebastian. It is. It's either Anthony, Michael, or Joseph. You
Everybody
go
was
Sebastian.
Michael because I grew up like, what are you, Italian?
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in a town that was a lot of Irish and Italians. There was a lot of Catholics, and then there was a lot of Latinos who were also Catholic, and so there was a fair amount of the Latino kids that picked Jesus as their confirmation names. I was like, wow, that's shooting
That's
fucking
hard.
high.
Yeah, that's hard.
But I find with the Catholicism, I still have intense guilt with masturbation. I still.
Do you really?
Yes,
Oh,
I wish
don't.
I could
Not
get
with
rid of it.
masturbation. I don't.
No.
Not with masturbation. It's funny. Growing up, so my father dies at 16, and then my grandmother after
And your
that.
parents were divorced at that
They
point
were
anyway,
split.
right?
My mom had just left. She didn't want to be part of the family, so my dad's
Can
on
I
his
just
own.
read you one thing that,
Yeah.
that just because your mother came up? I always do research for my show. This is the first time you've been on the show,
Yeah.
right? Okay. And this is this website is called arealnews.com, and there's these Chinese companies that for some reason, you ever see like when you put in somebody's name, it always pops up net worth and all that
Yeah.
stuff. It's all these Chinese
Bullshit.
bot companies.
Okay, that's what that is. Because people keep sending this to me saying I'm married, I'm 5'6". That one
Yeah.
offended me the most.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
sure.
5'10", bro.
Yeah.
I'm 5'10". Give me all my
Right,
70
right.
inches.
But this one, here's how it describes you. Who is Ryan Sickler? Ryan was born on March 8th. On 8 March 1973 in Baltimore, Maryland.
Correct.
He holds an American nationality.
Correct.
From the age of 11, his mother and father get divorced, and his mother does not like him.
Correct. The Chinese have it correct.
Man, they got inside. They got inside your
correct.
life. Shit.
That's
They
way.
know that all the way in China. His mother
I
does
tell
not
my
like
daughter's
him.
mother, stop reading that. I'm not worth that. Trust me. I'm not worth what they're
right,
telling you. Stop
right.
reading this bullshit. It
Yeah.
says we were married. We were never married. Stop reading that shit.
I know. I went to I went to a party last night, and the person was kind of famous, so I Googled what their net worth was, and it was $30 million. And I had to upgrade my gift. It was a housewarming.
What did you get originally?
Originally, as a joke, I had a rewrap of a pubic hair shaver because I do ads for Manscaped or whatever it is. So they sent me some sand. They kept for some reason like every week for like 6 weeks. I got another one. They must have fucked up or something. So I have this rewrap shelf, and whenever I'm got to go to a party, I look on the shelf and I see what do we got. But instead, I went with the what Tascam books are.
Yeah.
Big coffee table
Yep.
books. They're beautiful. I had one of those, and I fucking dusted that baby. It was a
Oh, you
big one.
didn't have to go get it. You still had that, though.
I still had
Yeah,
it.
that's nice. That is
Yeah,
nice.
threw some nice wrapping paper on it. That's going to be big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were about to give him a pube sheet.
Yeah. Well, it's a joke,
Either way, they probably use it. And
Yeah.
actually, that Lawnmower 4.0 is a good one. I have them, too. There you go. Give them some love.
Yeah. Yeah. Give him some love. And then what else? Let me see what else it says about you. Your body weight is 145 pounds,
No.
and you're 5'6"
Yeah,
inches.
no. I'm 195. I'm 193 today, 5'10".
193, 5'10". That's good. Those
That's
are good
not
numbers.
bad. That's not bad. I'd
What's
like
your
to get,
target? 180?
I want not 180. I want to dip. I just want to see an 8 in there.
Yeah.
I haven't seen an 8 in my weight since I want to say high school.
Yeah.
Probably.
All right.
Yeah. I've gotten all the way up to 217. That's probably my most,
Damn.
which is a lot for me.
Yeah.
And then to lose it and think like, if I carry a backpack of 20 pounds right now, just walking around, fuck, fuck
Yeah.
that. What else
Were
does
you-
it say about me? Sorry, go
Oh,
ahead.
it says qualifications, mass communication.
I did. God, that was my major in college at Towson, the Panthers,
And it
home of the
says-
Panthers.
Ryan credits his father for getting him into a comedy line.
I don't know what that means, but he definitely got me into comedy for sure.
From the age of 11, Ryan was caught by his father when he watches a movie at midnight. After his father died, he lives with his grandparents.
Well, at around 11, I did sneak into my, I grew up saying, look, I'm white trash. We grew up saying foyer, okay? Not foyer.
Yeah, you got that Maryland accent.
And sherbet.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And
wait, sherbet isn't right?
I don't know. I've always heard sherbet. And I'm like,
I guess sherbet is based on sorbet, isn't it?
I don't know. I've always said sherbet.
How do you say Ferry?
Ferry.
Yeah, it's ferry.
How do you say it? How do other people say it?
Ferry, not fairy.
But
I know
fairy.
the Maryland accent. Yeah. I know it's fairy.
I hear it. It's so funny. You're saying it back to that. I'm like, what's the difference?
Say Water.
No, I got water, yeah. Not water. But
what
I
do you
used
call
to say,
that white thing right there?
That's a fridge.
Okay.
Not a Frigidaire. My grandma used to say a Frigidaire.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a generational.
I feel like that's an East Coast thing.
There, yeah.
My parents used to say icebox. That's
okay,
how fucking old
I
they were.
did hear say icebox.
They used to say icebox.
In the icebox.
Yeah.
But I used to put the R in there and not even know it. Washington.
Yeah.
In the washer and dryer. And it wasn't until, probably in my late 20s, early 30s, somebody goes, "What are you saying?" And I said, "The washer." And they go, "Spell it." And I go, WASHER. And they go, "Where's the R?" And then I had to, I changed the way I spoke after that. I was like, holy shit.
Well, the opposite of that, of course, would be Worcester, Massachusetts, which has an R, but you don't say it.
Right. Yeah.
And they say that's the difference between Boston and New York, is in Boston, they take the R off. And in New York, you say soda. My mom says soda because she's from the Bronx. You put the R on.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Anyway, we could talk all day about pronunciations, but look.
But I sneak in the foyer, and I see my dad watching. At the time, we had this thing called Super TV. It was early cable, and it was a box that's not about the size of the ones they are today now. Yeah. And I don't know, 6 p.m., you'd hit a button on top and you would get HBO. You would get an adult channel, which then was Was
this a scrambler or this was legal?
This was legal first, and then he started getting into the Scientific Atlanta scramblers and all that. But it was like a tic-tac-toe, a nude tic-tac-toe or some bullshit like that, and something else.
Nude tic-tac-toe?
Yeah, it was like a Playboy channel, and it was tame back then. You know what I mean? It was like the girl would take her top off or something if they're playing. I don't even remember.
Was it local access, like cable access?
It was called Super TV.
Really?
And it was paid. You had HBO, and I see these kids. I'm hiding in the hallway. He's in a recliner facing this way, and I'm behind him back here.
And how old are you, 11?
I'm like 11.
Yeah.
And I see these kids in the movie, and I think, well, they're kids. I could watch this. And then I see Richard Pryor, and it's busting loose.
Wow.
And I start laughing so fucking hard when he's like pushing the Klan out of oh God, the hat's on fire.
Yeah.
I laughed so hard I got caught, and he said, "Get in here." And I was like, "Oh fuck." And he said, "Sit down." And I was waiting for the lecture, and he goes, "Finish watching this with me."
Nice.
That was it.
That's amazing. Was he a funny guy? Your dad?
He was, yeah. And then a couple years later, I'm in 7th grade. And again, I share a room with one brother, and my other brother's right next to us, and he pulls me out of bed to see Eddie Murphy do Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood.
Okay.
The early ones with Tim, what was his name? Krasinski? I can't remember how you say it, but that guy. And I just that was it for me.
Yeah.
Like those two things put it in me, and that was it. I was done.
Isn't that amazing how that exposure... And I can remember the same thing with Steve Martin for me, with Mel Brooks, 2,000-Year-Old Man.
Yeah.
My father used to bring me to all the Mel Brooks movies, High Anxiety and Young Frankenstein and
Did you see Blazing Saddles? Did he
Blazing
take you to that?
Saddles. Yeah. And I remember that feeling. It was a visceral feeling that I felt like changed my DNA. And I agree. And I went, this is something, it wasn't conscious. It was just this thing of going that's where my energy is going to go.
Yeah. What drugged me out of bed that one? I never did that any other night. I never went down there and watched movies.
Right.
I never snuck down there I can do this all the time. It was that one fucking night.
Right.
And boom, it's in me. And then watching him laugh was always great, and making him laugh.
How would you make him laugh?
I would imitate the characters I'd see on TV, do like my Ed Grimley or, you know, the Minkman brothers or Sammy Davis Jr. or whatever. P.S. By the way, how come no one ever brings up the fact that they painted Billy Crystal brown? How does that one? Every time someone has blackface, that never goes back to Sammy Davis Jr., even though he killed it. He fucking killed it. No one ever goes, how about Billy Crystal? What he did say? Nobody.
Billy Crystal
did a whole movie on it.
Jimmy Fallon did it at one point.
Yeah, well, he got shit for it, but nobody goes. And no one ever goes to that one. And they did his hands. I mean, he was a black man, not just a character. He was Sammy Davis fucking, and he did them good too. He did do them good.
Damn, I never did blackface. I did a lot of fucked up stuff in my life.
Yeah, none of
and it's not that I wouldn't have, because back then I don't know that there was the same stigma to it that there is today, and that's why you got to be careful what old stuff of yours is out there. You know, the goalposts change, or the what do you call the first down markers? First down markers, the chains. The chains move.
I just went through an old file cabinet where I had a bunch of mini DVs.
Yeah.
I didn't even watch them. I just I took them, listen to me, I didn't just throw them in a dumpster either. I took them to a place where you can watch on the video where they crush them and destroy them.
No shit.
I was like, I have no idea what's on there. And you know what? Who gives a shit? I don't need to be digging through old material.
Do you ever videotape yourself having sex?
Yes, for sure.
Do you have those?
I've you know what? Here's the type of dude I am. Every chick that has ever let me do that, I've deleted it or thrown it away and destroyed it. Not just tossed it in a dumpster. I've cut it, whatever. I feel like if you're gonna look, I'm a dude. We stick our thing in someone. We don't ever have to let anyone into our body.
Yeah.
If you're gonna let me have sex with you, why? I don't get guys that are like mean to a woman after that. Like she just let you fuck her.
Right. I know.
So throw the video away. You know what I mean? Put it up here. What goods is going to serve you anyway? You're just going to get caught later by whoever else you love next.
There was a guy in New York, a comedian, who I'll tell you after the show, who has since had some issues. He had a hidden video camera, him and his roommate, and they used to videotape. And this is back when it was like on a fucking VHS cassette.
Yeah, like a whole camera where you could put the VHS in the camera.
Right. And they used to videotape having sex with girls, and the girls never knew, and they had a whole catalog, and they used to show it to people, and I was like, dude, this is fucking wrong.
I mean, that's illegal.
I would imagine you could go to jail for that, right?
Fuck yeah, you can go to jail for that. Videoing people against their knowledge. Especially if you put it on the
internet, because then that's...
right.
Especially if who knows how old the girls were. Jesus.
God, I knew a girl, this is actually, it's fucked up and funny, but so she and my friend are dating. And my friend's name's, I won't say his name, we'll call him B. B is telling his girlfriend that he's very into a full bush. He's like, I grew up in high school, every girl had a bush. I like full bushes. And
Bobby Lee.
No.
He loves a big bush.
Well, this dude did too. Mm-hmm. And so he's telling her, grow your bush out. And they're telling me this. And she's like, so I'm thinking, what the fuck? I don't care. I don't have to go get wax. I don't do anything now. Yeah. I'm just going to grow my bush out. So she grows like an 80s bush.
Yeah.
And then he says, send me a picture. And she's like, I've never sent a picture ever to a guy. And he's like, just send it. It's your bush. Just send it. And she's like, if I do this, you have to tell me that you got it, and then you have to delete it. And he's like, no problem. So she sends it. And then she's like, did you get it? And he's like, I didn't get it. And she's like, stop fucking with me. He's like, I swear to God, I didn't get it.
Oh,
shit. And she's like, did you get it yet? And he's like, I didn't get it. I swear to God. Look at your phone and see who you sent that to. And guess who else's name is the exact same name as his?
Her dad.
Fucking dad. Her fucking dad. She sent a picture of her bush.
Was her face in the photo?
That's the first thing I said. She goes, no. What would your next question be? Because mine was it, and it was
Well, it was from her email, so he would recognize the email, right?
I said, did you? Well, it doesn't matter. You could be, oh, this is my girlfriend.
Yeah.
But I said, do you have an incriminating tattoo that he knows of? And she's like, yup. And I go, and it's enough in the picture? She goes, yeah. I go, has he said anything to you? She goes, no. I go, you guys close? She goes, very. And I go, he hadn't said a word to you? She's like, nothing. I go, you know what? You got a good fucking dad. He's probably also showing it their mom, like, this is why our daughter doesn't get anybody. Got a full fucking bush. And so, well, you know what I mean? Like, holy
I always think about, like...
I'm like, why don't you put your dad's name as Dad?
Yeah.
Or even do not fucking text. Anything other than his first... Like, I would hope I'm in my daughter's phone as Dad and not Ryan.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Big mistake.
It's a weird thing for actresses because, like, I went down the Penelope Cruz wormhole the other day. I forget why, but I started looking up nude pictures of Penelope Cruz, and which led to nude videos, which
And
led
they
to
exist? Of Penelope?
dude.
All right.
She's done some serious nude scenes.
Like back in the day?
Tasteful, yeah. I mean, back when is she from Spain or I think she's from Spain?
Yeah, I think
and they were
so.
Spanish films. They were artful Spanish films, but like a lot of serious. And I just think, like, does your dad see that? Do you ask him to cover his eyes at certain points?
Yeah, if your
If it's
daughter's
Angelina Jolie, it's like John Voight's such a creep. He probably would enjoy it.
Yeah, he would.
Or Lindsay Lohan's dad, he'd probably fucking show his friends.
Yep. Fuck.
Yeah. You got a daughter, right?
Yeah.
How old is she?
7.
Yeah. I mean, to think someday that, oh, God.
And not a fuck that. How about, like, your daughter goes over and trusts a guy enough who videos her and then shows all his buddies all the time.
Or it gets on the internet. I mean, it
Yeah.
leads to suicide sometimes.
Yeah.
I read an article about all these girls that have committed suicide because they got leaked onto the internet. And a lot of them were from that Girls Gone Wild videotapes.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Because he
yeah,
didn't
God.
just do the fucking wet t-shirt contest. They shot porn with girls, and then they released it. And they
they
wouldn't
actually
take
released
it down.
that, too?
Yeah. And they got
Fuck.
them to, they were drunk, and they got them to sign something because they gave them $500 or whatever. And then all of a sudden you go to work one day and your buddy's like, hey, man, want to see a video?
And it's you down in Panama City.
Oh,
sucking
shit.
3 dicks. Oh, that's awful.
3 dicks, like
God.
you're playing some
On
fucking
video,
crazy
though.
horn at the
On
Vatican,
video.
some organ.
Oh, man. Fuck that.
So I thought about, all right, how do you interview Ryan Sickler on a podcast? Because you're one of the best storytellers
Man, that's nice
out
of
there today.
hearing
You really
say that.
you have a gift. I mean, some people have it. Bert Kreischer's got it. You know, some people just know how to lay out a story. And
Thank you.
So, I mean, we've gone this far without me asking you point blank to tell stories, but I did, when I asked you to do the podcast, you said, do I need to prepare? And nobody ever asked that. So just fucking around, I wrote, I think about the story of losing your virginity and the time you lost a fight. And
Both
you,
very
and
humbling.
you wrote back, it's the same story.
Same story.
So let's start with the virginity story. How did you lose your virginity? How old were you? Where were you?
I can tell you everything.
I'm gonna guess.
I remember it
Let
like
me
yesterday.
guess.
Okay.
You're a kind of aggro guy. You're pretty masculine. You got a decent build. You played sports, which means you're probably a little younger. I'm gonna guess you were 17, and I'm 16, 15. Really?
A month before my 16th birthday. I was 15.
Wow. How old was she?
She was 16. She was a year older.
Isn't that weird now when you think at a certain point you had sex with a 16-year-old girl?
But also I'm 15.
That negates it, but it is still existentially weird.
I've had sex with 16. I mean, you have sex with all.
I had sex with a 15-year-old when I was
17,
16.
I don't know if I'm trying to think. I probably had I've never had sex with a girl younger than 18 when I was above 18.
Yeah, that's the key.
Never that,
That's
obviously.
the key.
But even, I mean, like, when I was 19 in college, the girl I dated was 18 in high school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But anyway, my first time, it was our Valentine's date. You know, it was Valentine's weekend, as we like to say.
You just said Valentine's.
On purpose.
Yeah.
I did it. And we go out for dinner.
How long you been dating?
Probably a good 6 months maybe, and we had already, you know,
and
hand
gone
jobs
through the steps.
and you know,
you got to second base. You told your
over
friends
the sweater, rubbing the titty,
first,
under the sweater, over the bra, rubbing the titty. Finally got the titty.
dry humping until you had a scab on your shaft.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. There was a time that my father, because I'm 14, 15, dating this girl. I don't have a car. And this dude's working double shifts, and we live in Maryland. He's driving to it's now is Reagan. It was National Airport back then. And he's like, you be out here at 11 o'clock. And don't be, I'm telling you, not 11:01, not 11:02. You be here. Don't make me pull up, be here. And, you know, my hormones are just like, fuck 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And we had a big old Dodge. It was a 1977 Dodge Aspen station wagon.
Oh,
with wood
yeah.
paneling.
With the slant 6
Limited
engine.
edition.
Yeah,
you know?
slant
It was
6.
terrible. It was
classic fucking engine.
Here's the type of family we are. My dad got it from his aunt, my great aunt, whose daughter, it was her wedding limo. That was her wedding limo, bro.
Vinyl seats in your wedding limo.
It as a hand-me-down car to learn how to drive.
That's amazing.
And he pulls in, and I am not out there at 11 o'clock.
Uh-oh.
And her parents are sleeping, and I'm telling you, he puts that fucking horn, and it sounded like a tugboat, like, yeah. And I was I'm trying to get all my clothes on. Her parents turn the lights on. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? He's just dying laughing.
Yeah.
Dying, just sitting in the car laughing as I'm running out. He's like, you got blue balls? I'm like, yeah, I have blue balls. He's like, that shit's gonna hurt on the way home. But he's dropped me off to now go start another shift. So he was not fucking around. Like, I'll come get you.
Yeah.
But you better be ready. So this weekend, it's like the Valentine's weekend. We go have dinner, and she's now 16, so she's driving, and her dad's letting her drive his Chevy Trailblazer. It's a black Chevy Trailblazer, like two-door, little, you know, not even an SUV back then.
Yeah.
So we lived out in Carroll County, and there was this area where I played soccer. It was called Deer Park, and it had a big, like, gravel parking lot and several fields, and the gravel parking lot went back deep.
Right.
So you went back far enough you couldn't see from the road. And that was our plan. That's where we were going to go. I had bought condoms. It's funny because a friend of mine...
And was the plan to get out of the car or to stay in the car?
No, in the car. We're going to have sex in the car.
Yeah.
We're going to have sex in the car. And but I got to get condoms, and I've never bought condoms. And we go to CVS at the mall, and we're trying to buy condoms.
Did she come in with you to buy them?
No, it was just me and my buddy. I all of a sudden I hear some guy going, hey, hey, and I'm looking at my friend, and he's looking at me with big eyes. I'm like, what? And he tried to steal him, and the security caught him. Made this whole scene. They brought the police down.
No.
Yeah, it was embarrassing. And they're like, these kids are trying to steal condoms. And I was like, man. And they are
you
making
gotta cut a kid a break for that.
Seriously. Humiliated us. And even my father, when he found out, he was laughing.
They called your parents?
Yeah, they called our parents. They made a whole scene, told us we were banned from the mall for life. We're like, we'll just not come back to the CVS. We're good.
Right.
But so that's how we get the condoms. I end up paying for mine. And now we're going to have sex.
Okay.
And you nailed it. I was an athlete, and she was a cheerleader.
Yes.
She was a year older than me, and she was a cheerleader.
Cute?
Super cute.
Yeah.
Little strawberry blonde. Super, super cute. Very sweet, innocent. And
But she was a bad girl too, wasn't she?
She wanted to be, yeah. And then we park way off. And you know, if there's any guy that's out there that talks to you about how he just really laid it down his first time, he's full of shit. Like we knew what to do with no idea of really how to do it.
Yeah.
And
it's like when you were jerking off by slapping your dick.
No idea.
Right.
And
like a primate.
Like, I've never put a condom on my dick before.
Isn't that crazy? And I think about that is like, I had plenty of opportunity to practice putting on a condom before I had sex for the first time.
Could have done it all the time I jerked off. I could have rolled one on.
You could have tried, yes.
They show you the banana in health class.
Yeah, they didn't do that in our health class.
They got that banana had this thing, trigger finger. So, but no one did that in our health class.
Then the girls all started masturbating with bananas. Honey, why are the bananas all bruised?
So I've never rolled one on. You know, I'm trying to roll it this way. I'm trying to roll it that way. When I'm done, you know, I don't do it right, and the shit's getting all over me. So I toss that to the side. I get another one. And then we have sex, and she's laying on her back. We're naked in this fucking car that anyone could pull up on at any moment. And we're just laying there and I'm on top of her and it hurts her a little and it's weird for me. And
Did you put anything underneath her in case she bled?
We had a blanket under us and then she would like inch away a little bit and then she'd be like, okay, I'm ready. And then we do an inch away and then, okay, I'm ready. It lasted like, I don't know, 10 minutes tops, if that. It was like 2 turtles fucking, you know what I mean, on their backs.
Yeah.
And then I remember, I'll never forget, we went back to her house and we laid next to each other on the floor watching a movie and we talked about how we couldn't believe we had just had sex. Like we couldn't believe we finally got rid of that virginity, that thing that everybody wanted to. And then we had sex a few more times after that, but then we split up after that.
Really?
Yeah. She started seeing a friend of mine.
No! And by then she knew what she was doing.
But yeah, she knew what she was doing. And then he and I
Did that break up the friendship?
No, man, that's the funny thing.
That's weird.
He and I have been friends since we were like in elementary, kindergarten.
Dude, how do you keep friendship with a guy who stole your virgin girlfriend?
He didn't really steal her. We broke up and then she started seeing him. But listen, I went and got plenty of other girls.
I know, but still, that's kind of a bond. That's weird. You're a forgiving guy.
He always was worried about it. He always was different. And I never, and he said just recently, we still talk all the time, and he's like, I got to give you credit, man. He goes, as a high school kid, I started dating that girl after you, and you didn't even give a fuck. You never treated me differently or anything. I was like, I mean, it was a high school girlfriend. Like, what guy's gonna bust your balls over that?
Right.
I mean, we weren't together. He didn't steal her. She wasn't cheating. It was months after or whatever, and they wanted to keep it quiet. But I was like, oh yeah, she fucks. She'll fuck. Go ahead, have fun. She wants to. Go ahead, yeah.
Damn.
But then I was over here getting anal sex from a chick in 12th grade, so I didn't care.
Yeah.
That blows my mind when I think about that now.
Yeah.
My high school girlfriend, the year of my senior year, she was like the best.
Yeah.
At prom, we go back to a hotel, and she's in the bathroom for a while. I don't know what's going on, and she comes out in full
with a strap on
lingerie.
It was the greatest prom of all time.
Full on white lingerie with the leggings and the clips, and I was just like.
You need anything extra at that age.
I didn't give a shit if it was T-shirts with holes in it. I would have fucked those holes. Like, you don't need anything. And she came out in that, and I was just like, blew my fucking mind. And we had anal sex. I'm like, and I wasn't the only guy she had anal sex with. At 18, that's young.
Dude, I heard that having anal sex, and correct me if I'm wrong, listeners, because I'm not gay, but I have gay friends, and one of them told me that because the vagina is built for the flesh to be rubbed in both directions, the anus is meant for stuff to move just outward, and that a lot of older gay men have prolapsed anuses from having anal sex.
Pulling out.
Because it's pulling it out.
I mean,
it's pushing it in.
Mathematically and what would you say, scientifically, that makes sense to me. If you're always shoving something in and pulling something out when it's not meant to go both directions, it would make sense to me. Can you imagine
having a prolapsed anus from having anal sex too much?
I can't. I've seen that shit online. Like Segura and those guys put that shit up on their live, and I can't. They're touching two prolapsed anuses, touching each other, and they're just pushing. I had a girl come on my Patreon, and she talks about how she ran basically a brothel, and she would have guys come in and they would want her to fist all the way up their ass, and then she would grab the insides and pull the ass out on purpose. They want it pulled out and then push it back in. And I'm just like, where are you getting training? She's like, it's all on the job training. I'm like, what?
Dude,
there's guys. Yeah.
That's like a fucking farm worker.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like, reaching up into it and pulling it out. And she said one time they had to call 911 because she couldn't get the guy's asshole back in. It's crazy. I'm telling you, man. I've definitely enjoyed freaky shit, but then when I hear stuff like that, I'm like, oh, I'm not as freaky as I think I am.
No. A little ass play is fun now and again, but the reach in that's a whole other level.
And Jason Ellis, I don't know if you know him. He told me
I know Jason very well.
Told me one of his wife and he one time they cut each other with blood and were spitting it all over each other. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like.
And now he's like has sex with guys.
Yeah, he's got an open relationship.
He's doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah,
I mean,
I had him open for me in Brea. He said he wanted to do it, and I was like, "Come on!"
I saw the video.
And he did well.
He put it online.
He did
I watched the whole set. It was really good. He talked about all the gay stuff. But Jason's a guy who's a good example of how to live the second half of your life, because a lot of us petrify. And we sort of figure out what we like and we don't like, and we don't really push the boundaries anymore. And this is a guy who, like,
it's his Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, he's into, he'll explore anything, and like, I respect that, and I respect that he's doing stand up. I think it's a tough racket to get into right now, but he's got a built-in listenership. He'll be able to sell tickets if he wants to. But I got to call him because maybe I can give him some advice about stand-up.
He'd love it.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have him on the podcast. It's been a while.
Definitely. Do his too. This is good too.
I haven't done his yet.
Yeah, go do it.
I saw him at an airport recently.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're both going to different
he's
cities.
definitely wild, man. He's told me some of the craziest sex stories.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a girl, I've talked about this before too, but I've never been on here, so I'll share it with your audience. But I had a girl, it was about 6 months into, we're boyfriend, girlfriend. We're, monogamous. About 6 months, she hides her freak.
Yeah.
And then one day she's on top of me, reverse cowgirl. She's riding the other way, and just tries to dry jam a finger up my asshole. And I mean, she's got the long nails.
Wait, she's reverse cowgirling.
She's sitting on top of me, facing the other way. I'm laying down.
Oh, so she goes from...
She goes from just
across.
From right there.
Yeah.
She's sitting on me. I'm back here. And
tries to jam it in there.
With nails.
Oh.
And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
I go, spit on it something and give me a heads up. Like, go gentle then. And then it leads to more conversations about ass play, which is fine up to a point.
Right.
But it leads to, I want to suck your dick while you're taking a shit. And I was like...
Blumpkin.
Yeah. And I was like, this is the end of this relationship.
You said no to the Blumpkin?
Of course I said no. I couldn't. Look, I know what you're thinking because I've thought the same thing. I'll bet you blowing a load out of your dick this way and a shit coming out of your ass this way at the same time, I'll bet you it feels... I'll bet you there's nothing like that.
Yeah.
Blowing both out this way. I don't think I could get an erection or keep an erection sitting on a toilet while some chick's sucking my dick, knowing shit and piss is in there, knowing that she's okay with the smell, knowing that she's okay with the splashback, knowing that she's okay with everything. And then that mouth is going to come up on my body eventually later. I was like, nah, it's
I just know that say you pulled it off. Say that somehow physiologically...
You think your dick could stay hard? Because you can get me hard and sit me on the toilet. I don't think I'm gonna be way into my head about this. Like,
I think I would probably need some advance notice so I could prepare for it.
Yes, definitely.
And then I think that I would do it. And then as soon as we finish, she'd be like, "What do you want to do now?" And I'd be like, "Break up, I guess."
This is where we wrap it up right here.
Show you the door. Scrub your info from my phone.
I mean, man, and now she's a teacher. She's a teacher now.
She's not.
She is. She teaches kids. Good woman. Yeah.
What city?
She's in Maryland. She's still in Maryland. Yeah.
Wow. The dirty secrets.
6 months it took for that to come out, though.
Yeah.
You think you really know somebody, and then you're like, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I've had that before.
Wait, but let me ask you this.
Yes.
Like, do you think that kids today, because apparently the ass thing is pretty regular with kids today, do you think that they are desensitized and that's why they do it? Like they need more because they've all seen porn online? Or do you think it's actually an intimacy? Maybe they're actually more intimate and they're able to do this stuff.
I think that definitely desensitization is part of it, if that's even a word. I mean, I think, whenever I hear about like they've had so much, I think about Mick Jagger and David Bowie fucking each other because they've just had so much pussy.
Yeah.
They're like, let's just fuck each other.
Right.
Right. I don't know why, but that seems to make sense to me.
Yeah.
Yes. So I do think they're desensitized in a sense that, you know, again, you and I are talking about a hand on a titty over a sweater, then under it over the bra, then the actual titty. These kids can go to fisting.com and see assholes being ripped out. So I do think it is. But also when you're young, I mean, I ate ass. If a girl let me when I was 18, I didn't give a... You're 18. 17, you don't think anything can affect you,
right?
Nothing.
You're 18. You don't give. You could be on a 3-day camping trip.
I'll do whatever
roll in
you
on
fucking
the third
want.
day
Yes,
after dancing all night.
That testosterone back then, there's no match for any of that.
You're right.
And I think part of it is that too. Just young, dumb, and full of cum is still a thing.
You're right.
You know.
All right. So let me ask you the other story. You said I asked you if you've lost a fight, and you said you've lost a few. What was the most humiliating loss?
I would say the most humiliating loss, because it had long-term effects, and I would even actually be interested in going and get my head checked out now. But I got jumped this was in 1997, I think it was. No, 94. When
So you were like
I moved
18?
here the first time. So I finished up junior college. My whole plan was to come to California to do comedy, but I had no parents, and I was scared not to have some kind of college back something.
Right.
So I go to Cal State Northridge.
Okay.
But the day I wake up to drive here is the Northridge quake.
Oh, shit. No
my
kidding.
Friends, I slept at my friend's house. His mom was like a mom to me. And she's waking me. I will never forget. She's waking me up. And she's like, Ryan, you're not going to believe it, but you don't have a school. I think I'm dreaming. She puts on CNN, and the epicenter is Northridge. There's the school. It's
biggest
destroyed.
earthquake in the country in 50 years.
Yeah, and I'm getting ready. I'm waking up that morning to get in my
San Francisco
car and
was
drive.
bigger,
San Francisco after,
Right.
Or before, it was the 89, maybe that one, the World
It was the
Series.
World Series.
One.
Yeah.
So I come out here anyway, and I'm out here. I have a couple friends, and that's the year that the Eagles have the Hell Freezes Over tour, because they all said it'll be Hell Freeze Over before we ever play again, and now they're going on this fucking tour. And honestly, I should have got my ass beat for going to see the Eagles, but I go get tickets to see the Eagles with them, and we're going to Irvine. And
I can't imagine a worse combination. The Eagles in Irvine.
At the outdoor, across from the Improv, right there across the freeway.
But just the Irvine people are they're just Orange County, man.
No, they lived up to their expectations. So
wow.
We go, my buddy and I, Kevin, and his brother Rick has this girlfriend named Nicole. And back then, Nicole was a little Skinamax actress, little booby actress.
Okay.
And she was super cute, Beverly Hills chick, very cool. Had a phone back then.
Yeah.
A big ass phone.
Right.
So the four of us go down and we drive in Rick's Land Cruiser. It's an old Jeep, and if you know anything about those, the seats in the back don't face forward; they face each other.
Okay.
Okay. Kevin and I are in this facing each other like you and I are now. His brother and girlfriend driving down the front. We get there, we smoke our weed, we drink our beer, we finish our beer. I've never really had wine before. And they have wine, and we're making fun of Rick, like, you fucking pussy, you drinking
Get
wine.
on an Eagles concert, drinking wine.
But we have nothing left.
Yeah.
So we start drinking wine. The problem is I'm drinking wine the way I'm drinking beer.
Uh-huh.
And I mean annihilated,
Yeah.
Greg. Annihilated. We go in. I don't even know who the fuck opened. I am passed out on the lawn. I wake up in time to hear, I know exactly what I heard. Joe Walsh do Funk 49. I heard the James Gang shit. And then I heard Hotel California, and the concert's over.
Yeah.
And we're walking back to our car. We get in the car. I can't even hold my head up. I can't talk to anyone in the car. I can't communicate. Kevin's pretty much the same way. And Rick and his girlfriend are fine, but we're in now bumper-to-bumper traffic trying to get out of the
Can I just
spectrum.
ask you this? Did you watch her movies, her skin movies?
Yeah.
That must have been such a fucking
man.
turn on.
Her name was Nicole.
When you know a girl and then you find that out and then you get to see it, that is really fun.
Rick's a good-looking dude, man. He looked like Mark Wahlberg in Boogie Nights, so he was constantly bringing chicks back.
Yeah.
And they would fuck in the room. Like, Kevin and I are out there playing fucking Madden,
Yeah.
and they're fucking screaming. And they would come out, we'd hold up, like, Olympic numbers, like 8.5. We didn't like the girl, we'd be like 3.2. This is a Russian chick. She said, shut up. She told me her shoes cost more than my whole outfit one night. I was like, you bitch. When she came out, I was like 2.0. So we're leaving and we're inching out, And the last thing I remember is Rick saying something like, watch out for these guys. They're looking for trouble, or they want trouble. And then I wake up in a hospital.
You don't remember what happened?
Nothing. But I've got the police reports and the hospital reports. And what happens is these two guys who are Orange County fuck faces, just shit-faced looking for trouble, are walking through the parking lot and they're spitting on car, doing their thing. And they see two fucking morons, me and my buddy Kevin, just slumped over. And one grabs him from behind and one grabs me from behind. And the guy pulls me, so I tip out like a scuba dive. Yeah, like a scuba going off a boat.
Oh, it's convertible.
Yeah, it's open top.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
And I go back, and you can still see I have a permanent. I crack my skull here. I go unconscious, and some of the cars don't see. And this guy starts kicking my face. On this side, I have TMJ that I never had before. Still fractures my jaw, and just going to town on me. I'm out. I don't even know this is happening.
Yeah.
Rick and his girlfriend are freaking out. She's got the phone, so she calls 911. Thank God. And they bring an ambulance in to part the crowd and everything. And she says the cars behind me are starting to pull over me because they don't know someone's on the ground. These guys run away. Kevin's not unconscious, but I am out.
Yeah.
And
so they never caught the guys.
They caught him. They caught him because everyone in bumper-to-bumper traffic was like, we're a witness to this whole fucking thing. There's 12 people on our side. Like, these two guys were wasted. They couldn't even lift their heads up. They said nothing to no one, did nothing. These are guys just coming through looking for easy targets, and they found us.
Right.
Which is to this day why I will never fucking drink to a point where I can't defend myself ever.
Right.
So,
or wear flip-flops. I hate when I see a guy in flip-flops. I'm like, what if you have to fight? What are you going to do? Flip and flop? Your feet, your fucking shoes are going to fall off?
I'm definitely faster in shoes.
Yeah.
So I wake up in the hospital. I just remember coming to, and there's a nurse sitting here, and she's trying to give me some ginger ale. And she's telling me, you have a major concussion. You were beat up tonight. You're in a hospital. But sip this. Don't. But I'm dying of thirst, and I gulp it and I puke everywhere. And she's, listen, you have a massive concussion.
Wow.
Lay here, the doctors are going to be in. And I see what I think my friend Kevin walking by, and so I'm waving and he's waving back, and I'm like, what is going on? The doctor comes in, and I'm in and out of consciousness, and the doctor comes in and he's telling me how lucky I am to be alive. And he's telling me that I'm too inebriated. He's like, how much did you have to drink tonight? And I'm saying nothing. You know? He's like, son, like, you have been in here for out. You've bled out. You've thrown up, and your blood alcohol is still ridiculous. And he's like, I'm not going to give you anesthesia for this. I'm going to stitch your head up, and you're just going to have to take it. And I was like, okay. And he stitches this whole thing up, talking to me the whole time. I take it. It's not that bad. And but then I get up, and I haven't seen myself yet. I don't know what I look like or anything. So I get up to pee, and I walk into the bathroom, and the nurse said they found me asking, like, I'm just walking around asking who's my nurse. I go in the bathroom, and I turn on the light, and in the mirror, and my fucking face, my jaw is like out like this. And that's when it hits me, like, oh my God. I mean, this is fucked up. I can't lay down without being dizzy or anything. The police come, and they're like, you need to, you guys are still inebriated. You should get a place to sleep it off and then drive back. But they don't tell us. And if they do, we don't remember. You're not supposed to sleep after a concussion.
That's right.
At all.
Yeah.
But the police are telling us we can't drive. So Kevin and I lay on a bed. Rick and his girlfriend get the other bed. They're sleeping. It's daylight now. It's like 9 in the morning. And we're just miserable laying on this bed. And now we got to get in this old-ass rickety Toyota Land Cruiser and ride all the way back up to 405 with a broken jaw. And I mean, he's fucked up,
in the bright sunlight after
and just
concussion. That's
hard,
the last
like,
thing you want.
Oh, man, it's brutal.
Yeah.
I get back. I'm at Cal State Northridge. The police call because they called Nicole's phone because she had called them, and they're telling me that I was belligerent and all this, and she's had enough of it. She's like, this motherfucker was knocked unconscious. He said nothing to you. Like, so we find the guys, and they press no charge. How did they find them? They were, because all the witnesses were like, this guy, this guy, this guy. Someone found them. They found out they were amateur boxers or fighters.
Okay.
So just mega aggro, you know. And they do nothing. They never help us. They never
The police didn't press charges, but
Nope.
can't you press charges?
I was back then. At that point, I'm in Maryland, and Kevin's father was trying to deal with it, but because we were all out of state, it just got to be messy.
No shit.
Nothing ever happened.
They got away with that?
Yep. So I'm talking to my brother, my younger brother.
They should be in jail.
They should absolutely be in jail. I could have died that night.
Yes.
You drop on your head out that high is enough to kill you.
Yeah.
But I'm telling my brother the story, and he's like, "Are you serious?" I go, "Yeah, man, you believe that?" And he goes, "No, I mean, are you serious?" I go, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "You called me an hour and a half ago and told me this." No recollection of that.
Wow.
None. And for a good 3-4 months, when I would lay down the bench press or I'd lay down to just get in bed, my head would spin so bad that I felt like I was going to slide out. I would get sick, and my doctor's like, "You have a massive, massive concussion.
Wow.
Like, you're lucky to be alive." I was like, "Holy shit." So I would say that's the one. Waking up and then reading a police report of everything that happened to you when you have no idea.
That'll teach you to go see the Eagles and drink wine.
Fuck yeah, bro.
My cousin's son, who's just the greatest fucking kid. He's like maybe the best looking guy I've ever seen in my life. He has like 1940s movie star features.
Those cheekbones and shit.
Yeah, almost like, but not pretty. He's manly. And he was All-American lacrosse player in high school, played college lacrosse. Smart, sweet, fucking good kid. He was coming home from a bar one night. He was drunk at college, and there was some local kids in the town that the school was in, and they jumped him and they beat him unconscious and they kicked him in the head, and he was in a coma.
Damn.
And he's come out of it, but he's not right. He's having a really hard time.
How long ago was this?
2 years.
Jesus.
He had to drop out of school. He has anger issues.
Can't play lacrosse.
He can't play lacrosse.
I mean, that right there, taking your life away, like that part of your life at that age, that's enough to fucking make you snap.
And they never caught the people that did it. And there was a gang of local kids there. And somehow they never found out who did it. Not that it would matter. His life is still fucking destroyed because of it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm lucky. I know I'm lucky. I'd like to go see what part of my issues have to do with any CTE or anything like that. I'd love to go get a scan.
What issues?
Anything. Any anger issues, any kind of anything. I'm just curious to see if my brain affects the way I respond and react to things because of the trauma.
Yeah, they have scans now where you can go look at that stuff.
You can see I think they said they'll show you a gray area or something.
Yeah,
They'll say this percentage of your brain was affected by that, and these are the things that are maybe
Plus,
the reason my patience is so thin is because I got fucking jumped.
Right.
I like to say that to my kids.
Look, kids, you're not bad kids. It's just the Eagles and wine. Stay away from Eagles and wine.
Red wine, too, specifically.
Oh,
that
Jesus.
shit killed me,
red wine. I bet you love that fucking song.
I've always hated that song, even before that fucking...
UB40.
I hated it.
Talk about a one-hit wonder.
Yep.
Not only reggae, but like, first of all, there's only... That's not true. I was going to say there's only one person that's ever done reggae well. That's not true because there was Tosh with Peter Tosh. There was Bob Marley.
Ziggy Marley.
And Ziggy Marley. And then there's another guy. But that's pretty much, when you think about that's its own genre of music, that there's only 4 guys that ever did it well. And a woman. What was her name? Anyway.
Probably a Marley.
You know, Corolla fucking hates reggae. He's got to think about reggae. You been on Corolla?
Years ago.
Dude, you'd be great for that show.
I'd love to go on.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about your career a little bit. Jesus Christ, man. This podcast...
Well, what do the Chinese say? How am I doing?
The Chinese say, Ryan Sickler do very good right now. Him owe taxman lots of monies.
Yeah.
You've got this podcast... what's it called again?
The Honeydew.
See, I told you I'd do my research. Mm-hmm. The Honeydew, which I've been on, and I had a blast.
You were great.
I was great. No,
you were great.
It was fun. But because of that, you have developed a following online in clubs. That's fantastic. And you know what I love about this is that there's so many guys now, whether it's Tim Dillon or... Joey Diaz. Well, Joey's got more credits, but like guys that don't have a ton of TV and film credits that are able to get a real following based on the truest connection, which is just you talking into a microphone, showing them who you are, and they say, I want to go see you live. That's the best connection you can have with a fan.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, look,
because you can see somebody in a movie and you can go see them do stand-up, and you're going to get two completely different things.
But I want to say this because you're one of these guys, too. There's a lot of podcasters who can't do stand-up.
Right.
There are.
Yeah.
And they can sell tickets, but they can't fill that hour.
Right.
And that's because they haven't been doing stand-up a long time.
Rogan listens to this podcast, so I'd be careful what you say.
I'll tell you who I'm talking about when we get off.
All right.
But because they just haven't been doing stand-up long enough. Look, talking into a mic is certainly a skill, but ranting or interviewing like I do or whatever your shtick is behind that mic and that, it's not stand-up. It's
Right.
just not. And if you haven't put that time in, then just because you can get people to come see you, they may never come back.
Right. You get one shot.
That's it.
Yeah.
And fortunately for me, my audience has grown over the years, which means they're coming back and I'm gaining new. And But I think part of that, look, I'd be nowhere without guys like Tom Segura, Christina Pajitsky, Rogan, you. All you guys are mentors to me. I'm a student of the game. I've always known who you guys are. I've always watched and paid attention to what you all have done. But for me, particularly, I always felt like I was funny. I always felt like I was as good, and I'm not saying better than anybody, but as good as what I'm seeing gets put out there.
Right.
And it's just that industry that says, yeah, we think you and Greg are funny, but you know what? We're going to give this guy 5 more chances.
Right.
And 2 more.
Right.
And here's 1 more too for not you guys.
Yeah.
Here's another one for this guy. I'm like, so once podcasting hits, it reminds me of The Wall in the Game of Thrones. Like, that was the industry for so long. And we have had to figure out how to either go over, under, around, or through that fucking wall. But I always believed that once I got over that hurdle, that I would prove to myself I was as good as anybody else. And once podcasting did that for me, getting me directly over that wall that you're talking about and going direct to fans, it's changed everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's changed everything.
And it really is like, it's an extension then because your podcast is similar to your stand-up. You know, it's for some people it's like, you know, if you do some comics do like Marin does more of a intellectual type of interview, and then you see him do stand-up, and it's like it's also intellectual, but it's like it's him being funny, and it's like I think it can add to it. But like you said, there's a lot of guys that do a dry, cold podcast, and then their stand-up is just the same fucking thing. It's like there's no... well, we can talk about the names after this. I wish I did a podcast like Kevin Brennan where I just talked shit. Do you like Brennan?
No, I don't.
Does.
I'll say it. I don't fucking like him.
Yeah.
He came on the Crab Feast. He was a fucking dick.
No.
He was a dick.
Really?
He was a dick to me and Jay, and then went on Kreischer's podcast the next day, started crying that we hadn't aired it yet. Like, motherfucker, we just recorded last night.
That's hilarious.
It doesn't come out till next week. Started bitching and crying.
Yeah.
Kreischer hits me up. Was like, yo, he's talking mad shit about you. He really did talk more shit about Jay than me.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
But no.
What did he say about Jay?
He just didn't have anything positive to say. He was being look, he's a ball buster, which I have no problem with.
I love him, but I get it when people don't like him.
But Jay's a ball buster.
Yeah.
So when these two start busting, because he said one was good cop, one was bad cop. He's referring to me as good cop. But Jay kept giving it to him, and he didn't like getting it back.
Yeah.
That's my pet peeve.
Yeah.
If you're going to bust balls, when it's your turn, eat the fucking dick, bro, and give it right back. Give it back. He didn't want to eat the dick. He just wanted to shove it down everybody else's throat. And we were like, nah, you're going to have some of that too. And he didn't like that shit.
Yeah, no, he doesn't like it. No, he does not like it.
He didn't like it.
He told me he can't even go into clubs sometimes because there's so many people that want to beat his ass. I think Gary Gulman might have grabbed him. And
yeah, Gulman's big, man.
Yeah, Gulman's a big fucking dude.
Large.
He played college football at BC.
There was a story about him grabbing Jay Moore during Last Comic Standing.
Oh,
and
yeah?
he grabbed him and pinned him up.
Really?
Like, picked him up. Like, Gary Gallman's big, man.
No, dude, Gallman's got a temper.
Yeah.
I saw him one night at the Improv in Hollywood.
Someone told me about this.
I was sitting there with Andy Kindler along the back wall watching him, and these two guys they weren't heckling, they were talking. It wasn't really that bad. And Gallman fucking snapped. He dropped the mic and he
went
got
out
off stage.
there, right?
Yeah,
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
I've never seen a comic do that, though.
I felt bad for the door guy because, like you said, Gary's a big fucking dude.
Yeah, you ain't stopping him.
And he was the door guy got in between, but I think some punches got thrown, and I was like, "Damn, Gary's got a short fucking fuse."
Yeah.
Which is weird because he's also the sweetest fucking guy.
That's it.
And his stand-up, like, here's another guy. How to Live the Second Half of Your Life. He has completely had a renaissance as a comic. He was always a respected, good comic.
That state abbreviations bit, boom.
The what?
The state abbreviations Gallman does.
I don't know.
You haven't seen that bit?
No.
That changed a lot,
Oh,
too.
yeah.
I mean, it went viral crazy.
Yeah.
It's so good.
But, like, he just kept working hard, kept his head down, and then something clicked with his depression material. And then all of a sudden, he just didn't look back, and he was just cranking out good new shit all the time. Yeah, and yeah, I'm also partial because even though I'm from New York, I consider myself a Boston comic.
Okay.
I started out with Gary was a little bit behind me, but he came up with a good group of guys.
Burr and
right? Patrice. Those guys were just after me. Burr, Patrice, Bobby Kelly, Dane,
Stephen Wright. Your time?
No,
before
he's much older than me. Yeah, I was.
Would you be young enough to see him at the shows and stuff, though?
No, he was gone.
Oh, he was.
I was Rogan, David Cross, Maron, Louie.
Damn.
Yeah. Louis C.K. Who else came out at that time? DePaulo.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys were all a couple years above me. Me and Rogan were the exact same. We started within 2 weeks of each other. And then he was dating my roommate, so we kind of lived together for like a year when we first started. We used to get in the car together every night, drive to fucking New Hampshire one night, Rhode Island the next night, Connecticut the next night, just to do 10 minutes for free.
Right, for free.
We were fucking hungry.
That's what it is.
And we'd write all day, and yeah, it was crazy. So like, yeah, that's my brother in comedy. But I feel for any Boston comic, I feel like I love the voice. I love the guys that are still coming out of there with that voice.
Yeah.
You know, there's still guys.
Leary, you have Dennis Leary out of there too.
Is
he more
there's
New
a lot
York
of
than
people.
Boston?
No, but he's. I guess he's both, but he gets a mixed reaction from some people. I like him, but there's some people that feel like he's a little too derivative of Bill Hicks.
I've heard that a bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and then I'm trying to think who else came out at that time. Not that many females, really. Janine Garofalo was kind of part of that world for a while. But a lot of them never left. Lauren Dabrowski, she ended up becoming a writer. She became the head writer on Mad TV for many years. So anyway, now when you came out of did you start in Baltimore? Was that your first?
I did. When I was 20, a friend of mine was dating a girl whose dad ran a club there and just was like, "You're the funniest person I know. Why don't you just try it?"
What was it called?
It was Winchester's back then. It's not even there anymore. I went in just a couple years ago. I went in and I'm talking to the people like, "This used to be a comedy club." They're like, "No, it didn't." I'm like, "It did, though. It did. Like in the 90s, it did. Not in 2005, you know." But I went in and I did, like, oh God, I had fake buck teeth.
No,
like,
you
oh,
didn't.
Yeah, I was a prop comic for one set, and they broke, and I learned my lesson. Never rely on the fucking.
Do you have video of that?
I have audio of that one. Dude. I don't have video. This is 93.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got my first set on tape in 99, I think, or I'm sorry, 89, and I would never play for anybody.
Yeah, no.
So
but I only did comedy for a few months. It was like 5 months, and then my grandmother at that point, who we're living with, like the Chinese said, she dies. Not my grandparents. It was just my grandmother. She dies in front of us. Yeah, I'm giving her mouth to mouth. She dies.
Oh shit!
I don't do comedy again.
Wait, did she die because you were giving her mouth to mouth?
Yeah, I killed her. Yeah.
Why are you giving me mouth to mouth? This is gross. You're my grandson.
It blew her lungs up and killed her. And then when I came here, I was 24. I got here in 97, 24. And I fell into improv first.
Oh.
Before getting back into stand-up. And
Okay.
I did an all-black improv troupe taught by this guy named Cal Gibson, who did it on the side, but people couldn't commit enough. I was one of the only committable people there. And we stopped doing that. And then I got into the Groundlings. And I did the first level of the Groundlings. And then there's like this year-long waiting list.
Yeah.
And I felt good about being back in comedy. And I didn't want to just do nothing for the year. So as soon as that year waiting list hit, that's when I went back to stand-up.
Yeah, that's a great way to start because then you can interact with the crowd a little bit. It puts you in the moment.
It really
gives you
did.
confidence.
It absolutely helped me break from my material and be able to entertain what's going on over here and then still come back and do something here and come back. That yes-anding and all that. That's
right.
Yeah, I have that. Like, I wouldn't do an hour of that material. I'm not a crowd work comic, but I've got it in my bag if I need it, and I'm comfortable because of improv. I really am from that.
Okay, I'm going to give you an improv to do. It's a Quentin Tarantino movie. You're a trans black woman, and there's an earthquake, happening. Try not to use the N-word.
Okay. But I'm a trans woman, but I'm a guy still.
I'm not really going to do this to you. I love that you were going to do it, though.
I was going to give you something.
I respect that. I was
going to yell,
get
under the tables, motherfucker.
That's all I was going to do. All I could see is you getting canceled, so I had to pull the plug on the project. It's not fair to you.
I was going to
You're nice enough to come over here. I put a bug in your fucking coffee cup, and then I get you canceled for doing an improv.
Shitty ass improv. I don't think there have been improvers who were canceled. There were.
All right. Well, listen, man. This has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming over here, being in studio in Fitzdog Studios.
Come back and do mine.
Yeah, I'd love to do it. And if you want to come check out Ryan's stand-up, he'll be in Austin in January.
No, that got Cobb's apparently is not going to, or not Cobb's, Jesus Christ. Cap City is apparently not going to be open. They just told me yesterday, so it's getting pushed.
Why aren't they going to be open?
I don't know. They said they're reopening Cap City because it closed. And it's like opening a restaurant. I knew when they said it probably wasn't going to be done.
Yeah.
They're never. I produced on a show one time called Opening Soon. It was all new restaurants, and there were like 20 of them, and not one of them even came close to their fucking deadline.
That's hilarious.
No.
Yeah. But that's like how many people on So You Think You Can Dance become fucking dancers.
Right.
Kansas City, January 20th through the 22nd. Oxnard on February 2nd. Riverside on the 3rd. LA the 4th and 5th. Long Beach on February 6th. And Vancouver, Canada, February 17th through 19th, where you will be paid in dollars that are worth 70% of what you think they're worth.
That's right.
So good. And then you're going to pay fucking taxes on it.
Yeah.
I always love the idea of working Canada until they give me the check and you see all the subtractions of taxes and tariffs and fucking exchange rates. And you're like, wait a minute.
What did I make?
Yeah. And you sell your merch and you got a bunch of fucking funny looking bills in your hand to bring home.
Yep. I do Edmonton and Vancouver this year.
Where are you working in Vancouver?
It's a newer club. I actually don't think it's Vancouver. You know how they say Vancouver.
Yeah.
It's like 30 minutes north of Vancouver.
Okay.
But I can't. It's a theater, and I can't remember the name of it.
All right. Well, good luck.
Thank you, brother.
And get tickets if you want any of them at ryansickler.com. And thanks again, man.
Thanks for having me.
Sorry about the bug.